Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Cover 2 presented by Tigervision. I'm Patrick Neal with Grace and Man, as always. And today we're talking about the Super Bowl. It's pretty safe to say that that was the big event this weekend.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the Bengals did not win.
How are we doing? Recovery process?
It was tough. It was a tough Sunday night, considering I still had a lot of homework to do afterwards. But the Rams deserve it. They played very, very well. Where do we want to get started with this? I don't know. I guess just kind of go through.
There's so many different ways. Like, oh my gosh, first off, it was a great game.
It was a great game.
You got exactly what you wanted. Clemson fans, if you were watching for T. Higgins or anybody else, he went off. He made Jalen Ramsey his son.
If they had won, I think he would have gotten Super Bowl MVP.
Absolutely.
Fair to say. He had a great game. Jamar Chase too also made Ramsey his son.
T. Higgins leads all Clemson receivers now in the Super Bowl receiving yards.
Really?
Beating out Sammy Watkins by 2 yards.
Oh, that's an interesting little stat there.
Because Watkins had that big game against the 49ers when he cooked Richard Sherman.
Yep, that's right.
I want to start this off by congratulating the quarterback, Matthew Stafford. So 12 years in Detroit, that is not something I wish on even my worst enemies.
No,
and
not really.
You can say that he had Calvin Johnson, you can say he had this and that, but the dysfunction of Detroit, in the end, when he wanted to trade, they let him pick where he wanted to go. He went out on his terms. There was an interview that he had with his wife, and it was like this, he felt bad because the sense of loyalty to Detroit and what they've built. But this is the second year in a row we've had a quarterback get to go out on their terms, pick their team, and pretty much build an all-star cast and win the Super Bowl. Now, I think if the Bengals had won or the Rams had won, it'd dictate the narrative on how you build your team to win the Super Bowl, because the Rams said, you know what, the draft, we can just sit there and kind of participate and watch. We'll get our participation trophy. The Bengals built through the draft, got players like T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, obviously, and built it their way. And for the Bengals, you're way ahead of schedule, and we'll talk about each team's perspective and their future post-game. But I just want to congratulate the Rams. The best team, in my opinion, ended up winning the Super Bowl. A little weird, though, because LA Rams kind of feels like it feels like an expansion team, which technically it is.
Yeah, I guess it's a relocation team.
Yes, relocation team.
Yeah, but the Rams were a lot of people's preseason's favorite to win the Super Bowl, and they went out and did exactly that. And all the draft picks they put in, all the money they put in, signing players, it worked out for them. All the midseason acquisitions too worked out for him. Odell, who got a touchdown in this game.
Yeah.
It was very exciting to see. It was great to see for him. You got Von Miller, who had a sack, and even the likes of like Andrew Whitworth, who is 40 years old and is likely retiring after this game. I believe he said he already is retiring. I'm not sure.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. The dude is 40 years old playing offensive tackle.
But even then, he's still one of the best tackles in the league. And it is great to see so many of these guys who many people have wanted to get rings for a long time get them.
Yeah, guys like Robert Woods, Aaron Donald, Matthew Stafford, Odell. The boat picture, probably that curse, I would assume, is over since Odell was the main culprit. And hopefully. Eli Apple was in that picture, right? Was he on that team?
He might have been.
I believe he was on the Giants.
I can look real quick. But
boat picture culprits. Let's do that real quick.
But Eli Apple did get kind of tortured. Both Eli Apple, who had a worse game, you think, Eli Apple or Jalen Ramsey? It's got to be Eli Apple, right?
I think Jalen Ramsey low-key had the worst game of his career. So
low-key, like for Jalen Ramsey, it was an awful game. Now, mind you, the T. Higgins touchdown was a pretty clear face mask.
Yeah.
He did it, a little sleight of hand to make sure the refs didn't see it.
Sleight of hand, Jalen Ramsey's head goes like sideways.
Yeah, he was like an owl with like his head turned all the way around. But Jamar Chase had a great game against Jalen Ramsey.
He did. And that first big play that the Bengals they started to come alive. I think it was still 7-0, but it felt like the Rams were in total control, especially when Odell was in there. I don't want to say that the Rams would have totally dominated that game without Odell, but it took them a long time to figure it out offensively.
He was the key. And by the way, Eli Apple was not in that
He was not, okay.
It looks like, unless I'm missing something. I'm looking at it right now. It looks like he is not in that photo. But yeah, Odell was a game changer. When he went out,
he was flying around the place.
He was getting open pretty much every single play, and unfortunately, it looks like he tore his ACL, which is not fun.
Yeah.
But he was their game changer, and as soon as he went out of the game, it was pretty clear that the Rams were having trouble deciding what to do. They had to go to people like Ben Skoranek, who had a crucial tip that turned into an interception, and they had to turn to Ben Skoranek, go to Darrell Henderson a little bit more in the passing game as well.
Their third string tight end, they had
Bryson Hopkins, yeah.
It was pretty much, which I don't know if that was the initial game plan after Beckham went down, which is probably double Cooper Kupp, and let's see. If the rookie from Notre Dame beats us, then so be it. Or if Cam Akers and Sony Michel and them beat us, so be it. But this is a big game for Sean McVay, too, because he had that Super Bowl blemish in 2018 where his offense only put up 3 points, and now he gets to turn that. That the score, it was 13-3, and I was with one of my Patriot buddies, and he said, hey, Sean McVay did it. They turned it around. They were lost the Super Bowl 13-3, and they were up 13-3 in the next Super Bowl. So what a turnaround for him.
It would have, if the Bengals had ended up winning, it would have been, I feel like it would have been much more of a narrative, how we kept continually running Cam Akers. It was not working all
yeah.
of And kudos to the Bengals defensive line, especially when the Rams were running, because Cam Akers, I think his longest run of the night was 8 yards.
Yeah, this Bengals defensive line, they have playmakers, Sam Hubbard, Trey Hendrickson, but I did not expect them to perform to the level they did. They set the tone early. They got the sack on Matthew Stafford. They were able to contain the run, make it really difficult for that Rams offense post-Odell Beckham to be able to. They were able to make adjustments in the end, and it ended up paying off, but holy cow, this Bengals defense was swarming. They were allowing Joe Burrow in that offense to get comfortable. The offensive line played a really good first half, and then in the second half, it just fell apart.
It just completely fell apart. You're exactly right.
Once they started trading punts back and forth, I was thinking in the back of my mind, eventually this Rams defensive line is going to get in Joe Burrow's face, and they did.
Yeah, I don't know what Sean McVay said to his defensive line in the second half or what the Bengals offensive line did during halftime, but something changed, and the entire second half minus the first play of the Bengals after halftime, it was awful for the Bengals offense. It was just punt after punt, 3 and out after 3 and out, and they could not get anything going. And it's really unfortunate because I think, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but I think this is potentially the Bengals' best opportunity to get a Super Bowl.
I will contend that, but we will do that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But a little bit more on what happened during this game. I think, kind of like you were saying, the Bengals kind of had a bad first, kind of bad fourth quarter, bad second half, but that second quarter and the start of the third quarter.
That was their best football.
Yeah, that was their best football. But can we talk about the last 2 drives real quick?
Yeah, I feel like that's the biggest conversation.
So Bengals were up. They were in a prime position to basically the entire second half
just
get a field goal or get points on the board and at least go up 7 or so, but they couldn't do it. And the final Rams offensive drive, I don't understand why you let Cooper Kupp just destroy you down the entirety of the field. I feel like it would be a little bit more. I don't know. I feel like it would be a little bit more understandable if you're letting somebody like, Van Jefferson or Cam Akers do it, but to let their best player, the offensive player of the year, the person who won the Triple Crown, who you kind of contained the majority of the game.
Yeah.
To let him basically go all the way down the field, get like half his receiving yards in that one drive is crazy to me. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, and then especially in the goal line when everyone in the world who is watching that knows Rams football, that knows that Cooper Kupp and the season he's had, they know they're going to the football with him. Matthew Stafford is comfortable with him. Why do they not assign a safety, especially with Eli Apple, who
why do you assign Eli Apple to him?
Might be one of the worst parts of that defense. Why do you let him guard him alone? It is like letting one of these street level thugs fight Batman. It just doesn't work out.
It really does not. I don't know why you don't put someone like Chidobe Awuzie on him.
I don't get it. Or you chip him off the line because he's on the slot. Get a linebacker to disrupt his route because he runs such unbelievable, he runs such precise routes, and he does it with such speed. He's not like unbelievably fast like Tyreek Hill, but he's able to do it with such precision, and just he knows where these zones are. He knows how to break them apart. I don't understand why you don't have two people on him. And if Van Jefferson scores the game-winning touchdown, so be it.
It becomes a better night for him, who, by the way,
he had quite the day. I mean, he had a day. Congratulations to him. His daughter was born on Sunday.
Basically, right after the game, he had to rush to the hospital.
Yeah.
So
quick little celebration.
That final drive was a little bit confusing to me. That throw by Stafford at about half field.
That was
the no look.
Best throw of his life.
Wow, that was absurd. I saw a breakdown, I believe, by.
I did see a breakdown. It was basically he was looking off Von Bell.
Yeah.
And then just.
It was backyard football stuff.
The steal on him, man. Like what? That is. I would not do that in the Super Bowl. I would be looking straight at the guy.
Yeah, but it was absolutely absurd, that throw. It was a little unfortunate that when they were on the goal line, the refs, hadn't really gotten involved the majority of the game.
I was at our Super Bowl party all night. We were like, wow, this has been a really clean game. The refs have swallowed the whistle and just let them play. And then you can say what you want about the Logan Wilson PI. He was grabbing the jersey, but it was kind of like a bang-bang play where you could have gone either way with it. The Eli Apple one was pretty atrocious.
It was pretty fair.
But it feels, guys, the refs are going to call that. Like, it's not like they're going to ignore pass interference in the biggest play of the season.
The Logan Wilson one I don't think was really a pass interference, but the Bengals got a touchdown off of a pretty atrocious missed call. So
it went hand in hand.
You can't be too mad about that one. There was also a Jalen Ramsey hold on T. Higgins earlier in the game that wasn't called, but for the most part, the refs were fine. I mean, they didn't really cause too much.
Yeah, they didn't decide
controversy. And the Bengals even got the ball back with
minute 20,
minute 30 left.
And they had 2 timeouts.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if we're talking about that drive, final 2 plays. So you get to 2nd and 1.
You have 1 yard.
You need to get one yard. Oh. It was a pretty bad spot, to be fair, but you need to get 1 yard. I don't understand why Samaje Perine is there on the final 2 plays. Yes, he is a better pass catcher, potentially better in pass protection, but I think if you're the Bengals, you live and die by your best players being on the field.
Absolutely.
So why is Joe Mixon not in there when the entire game had averaged 4.8 yards per carry and had yet to have a negative play, a negative rush?
He's good enough to get at least, if you have 3 plays and you're like, all right, we're going to run it on 2 of them, I think that Joe Mixon is fully capable in his entire career of getting 1 yard, even if it is that Rams defensive line. He's able to have that strength, too, to be able to push forward. Because Aaron Donald took Samaje Perine and just threw him backwards. It was, I also didn't get why, and maybe this is just Joe Burrow's trust in Jamar Chase. On a 2nd and 1, he just goes for the kill shot. I get it, but I feel like if there was a better option, maybe like an underneath route or a check down, they could have gotten those yards and still have that opportunity. But did you also see on that 4th down play that if he had just a little more time, Jamar Chase had tons of grass?
Imagine that narrative.
That would have been crazy.
If Jamar Chase walks off with basically a game-winning touchdown, Jalen Ramsey's falling over.
Rookie of the world.
That would
have been Super Bowl MVP.
That's the entire offseason, and the entire narrative has changed about Jalen Ramsey. He still didn't have an absolutely perfect game, but he becomes kind of a meme, I think.
He becomes a scapegoat.
Yeah, you're seeing memes everywhere of Jalen Ramsey on the ground with the Lombardi Trophy just right outside
Eli
his hand.
Apple's career is saved by Jalen Ramsey stinking it up that night.
Speaking of Eli Apple, dude had a stinker. Like, he got absolutely clowned on Twitter by actual NFL players too. Like, Mecole Hardman was coming at him.
So don't
Tyreek
worry,
Hill
man.
was coming at him.
You'll get one of these one day. It was like talking to like a kid. He's like, hey, one day when you get to be my age, you'll be able to do this and that. You'll be able to drive.
It was a little bit funny
cold.
to see. I kind of wanted to see him do well just to see what would happen on Twitter. But
they would have lost their minds.
He has gotten absolutely clowned the past few days.
It was not in the cards.
It was not in the cards for Eli Apple to get a Super Bowl ring, I guess. And
maybe.
Yeah, the Bengals couldn't do it for Harambe either. Rest in peace, Harambe.
No, rest in peace.
I was hoping that, the world hasn't really been the same since Harambe died in 2016.
It's not been
so
the
I was
same.
hoping the
Our
Bengals
sweet
would win
prince.
for Harambe, and the world would kind of turn back to normal. But
alas, it did
like
not.
you said, it wasn't in the cards.
It was not. You know what? He was watching over. He was proud of the city of Cincinnati pulling through. What a run for them. And we'll get to that in a second. Do you have any more additional notes? This was the final game of Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels. I don't know what the broadcast team will be. It'll probably be Drew Brees, and I can't for the life of me remember that other guy. It's the bald dude that commentates the Thanksgiving games with him.
I am not quite sure, but
Did you used to do Monday Night Football along with John Gruden? NBC guy with Drew Brees. Someone's gonna be like shouting the name.
it's Mike Tirico.
Mike Tirico. There it is.
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Mike Tirico's good. I hope they re-sign both Collinsworth and Al Michaels to keep them together. But maybe they go to a different network together.
I thought Al Michaels was retiring.
Oh, he was?
I thought that was it.
Maybe. I know his contract was up, but I'm not positive.
Michelle Tafoya's final game too is Highlander reporter.
It looks like she's doing something like political now.
Oh, he told Eminem he's not retiring.
Okay.
So maybe it's like a contract thing.
I think it's just a contract.
Do it, NBC. I love that team.
Yeah. I saw a stat. If you want to talk about a little bit more before we move on.
Okay.
Joe Mixon now has, what was it? He has more passing touchdowns than Aaron Rodgers in the past decade or so in the Super Bowl. I saw on Instagram or Twitter somebody called it the chili special.
I like that. That's a fun one. You want chili?
Cooper Kupp and Matt Stafford tried the same thing.
They failed.
Later on, they failed pretty miserably. I thought when that happened, it was destiny that the Bengals were going to do it. But again, wasn't meant to be for the Bengals. You want to talk about commercials and halftime show a little bit? Yeah,
we'll do halftime show commercials, then we'll move on to each team's individual future. My favorite commercial had to be the Dr. Evil one, just because I love Austin Powers.
That was a good one.
The what was it? There was one that was really odd. It wasn't my favorite because it was funny, but because it was so freaking weird. The LeBron James one, where they DH'd him 20-something years.
That was weird.
It was so off-putting that it made me laugh so hard.
What was even the brand for that?
It was crypto.
Oh, it was cryptocurrency.
I think so.
That's weird. There were a lot of cryptocurrency commercials, including the one where it's like the old DVD thing bouncing up and down. That one was that was good.
Got a lot of applause from
Did it ever hit the corner?
It did.
It did?
It did.
I felt like I must have missed it then.
Hey, our producer can confirm that it did indeed hit the corner.
It hit the corner? That's good. What if they had just stopped it like right before it hit the corner? Just like cut out?
Oh, that would have broken me as a human being.
There were a lot of good commercials.
Solid year.
The past few years have been kind of duds, I feel like.
They really have. But you know what wasn't a dud? Halftime show.
The halftime show
was
good.
Awesome.
It was very, very good.
Blast from the past.
I feel like a lot of people may think, us Gen Zers might not understand the gravity of that halftime show, but I enjoyed it.
It was great.
I want to say it's the best halftime show I've seen in a while.
Yeah, I don't usually during the halftime show I'm either like kind of sort of paying attention or I'm just like. There is one halftime show that I didn't watch because I was upset, and that was the Patriots Falcons one. Mm-hmm. But that was Katy Perry.
Katy Perry?
Okay. Yeah. But having all those icons, and we're not that young. Like we've been around the block a little bit. Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, Eminem. It was
Mary J. Blige.
All-star cast.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people aren't talking about the little cameo of Anderson .Paak. He was on the drums at the end. Anderson .Paak is.
I was waiting for Tupac to come out of nowhere.
Yeah, it must mean that he's actually dead if he didn't come out for that.
Next year, next controversy.
Yeah, it was a very good halftime show. I would say even it's the best I've seen.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I would agree.
The only one I really remember being as good might have been Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars was
pretty good.
But even that, I don't know. I feel like they did a very, very good job.
The Weeknd one was underrated last year.
The Weeknd I enjoyed as well.
I will stand by that.
But yeah, the halftime show was very, very good. Commercials were very, very good. There were a lot of electric car commercials and a lot of crypto commercials.
Well, it is LA, so they're reaching that target audience.
This is true. They need to get on that new crypto.com arena.
Crypto, yeah, that is
make sure to advertise for that. But if we want to talk about kind of where these teams go from here.
The Rams' future. Where do we go from here? Now, I do have a question. This will be the main talk of the offseason. You guys can see the headline. if they can keep these guys together, and OBJ will not be coming back regardless because that ACL injury is going to take. He can make a playoff appearance.
Yeah, it'd be about 6 to 9 months. I mean, Cam Akers came back from a torn Achilles within the season, within like
it's possible
a few months. So
it depends on how dedicated he is.
Maybe that Rams coaching or medical staff is doing some magical things.
Maybe.
And maybe he comes back. But he could come back, late in the season playoff push.
If they could keep this core together and re-sign Von Miller, which is going to be very important in moving forward because he was a force, you get Robert Woods back, who is one of the better receivers in the league. His value, with the addition of Odell Beckham, I think a lot of people forgot how good he really is. So when he'll be back, they're going to have Higbee back, who had an MCL injury and wasn't able to play in the Super Bowl. Aaron Donald and Sean McVay, whatever it's retirement rumors or just a bunch of crap, if they stick together, if they can keep the band intact, is this a potential dynasty that could win another Super Bowl?
It could be, but if all those pieces kind of go away, it could really look bleak for the Rams. I mean, they have some very, very key pieces that they need to retain this summer.
Yeah, they do.
Like, say Sean McVay leaves, who's taking over for him then? They just lost their offensive coordinator. They lost their DB's coach. Who takes over for him?
It also super late into the coaching, so they're not going to get the best of the best.
This is true. I mean, maybe they get someone like Brian Flores, who's still up, but I don't know if he's the same kind of.
Yeah.
He isn't the same kind of offensive mind you probably want with Stafford. If it'd be interesting to see Odell, Cooper Kupp, and Robert Woods all on the field at the same time. That'd be very tough to guard.
Stafford would be I would be salivating from the mouth if I was quarterback.
They have a good running back room with Henderson, Michelle.
Oh yeah.
And Cam Akers, but you're likely losing Whitworth, who is kind of the head of your offensive line.
You'll lose Eric Weddle.
You're losing Eric Weddle most likely because he just wanted a ring.
Yeah. What a boss move. Play football for like a month and then go retire with a ring.
He's retiring again. I think they have 2 or 3 offensive linemen that are up for contracts. You got Odell, Von Miller, both gonna go to free agency. So you've got a lot of key pieces, and Aaron Donald potentially retiring too, which is out of nowhere. But being a defensive tackle takes a toll on your body. So.
Yeah, especially at the way he plays.
Yeah, especially when you're getting double teamed every play.
For the Rams, this was the year to win the Super Bowl. You went all in, you got rewarded. So to heck with what happens later, because you got the ring that you wanted. So not saying that they want to suck for the next 10 years, but if they're bad in 6-7 years, they can look back and say, hey, it's because we went and got that Super Bowl in 2021.
Yeah, it made it all worth it.
Yeah, so for the Rams, this is they got what they wanted. So I think that if you're a Rams fan, you got what you needed, you got that ring, you can kind of hold on to that for the next couple of years. They'll be a playoff team, I think, for sure. The NFC West, I think, is actually going to get weaker as a division. Depending on how Trey Lance develops, Russell Wilson could be on the move. And the Cardinals with Kyler Murray, apparently it's become a high school drama fest down there in Arizona.
That's interesting. You think it's going to get worse?
I do. I think Russell Wilson's going to be on the move, personally. And I think San Francisco with Trey Lance could take a game. They could take 8 to 9 weeks to kind of get into their own. And then with Arizona, I don't know what's going on there with Kyler Murray. And I'm a firm believer that Cliff Kingsbury is overrated as a coach.
Okay. I kind of agree with the Cliff Kingsbury being overrated narrative. I don't know. See, I feel like the Cardinals, they'll probably be about the same. They might be able to overcome that second half collapse they tend to have.
Maybe.
They might be able to get a playoff win. Trey Lance might be able to open off that San Francisco 49ers offense even more. And I personally don't know if I see Russ moving teams.
Maybe.
Personally.
This Seahawks team, though, still even with him, they're very underwhelming. I don't know why. I couldn't put my finger on it.
I'm not sure either, but maybe they retool that offensive line. That's kind of been an issue for years. Maybe get a few new pieces on defense. Someone like Bobby Wagner isn't getting any younger, but I don't know if the Seahawks will be as bad as last year, but it could very easily end up being a cakewalk for the Rams in the NFC West if they retain all these players.
And if Trey Lance isn't what he lives up to be, then it sets the 49ers back. Because Jimmy Garoppolo, regardless of what you think of him, he can win you 10, 11 games a year just because he's able to take care of the ball, make good decisions. Yeah, he has the most Super Bowls amongst all active QBs at this point.
Does he?
He does.
Really?
For doing absolutely nothing except win 2 games.
How many Super Bowls does he have?
He has 2.
Oh, both with the Patriots, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, he didn't really do anything, but like it's the funny joke.
I mean, he's still got the rings.
Yeah.
Still got the rings.
He's there.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, if you're looking for prestige, look no further than Jimmy Garoppolo.
That's
I'm sure he's on the market.
Yeah.
So, but what do the Bengals do from here?
The Bengals. All right, I've got your 3 C's, Patrick. You've got the core, you've got the culture, and you've got the confidence. And that man right there, Joe Burr, Joey B, Joe Cool, which I don't like because it makes Joe Montana's Joe Cool name. We need to get a new name for him.
Joe Montana said he was fine with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, then all right then. But you got the culture established. You've got that core with, especially on offense. And I know you mentioned then some players that are under contract on the defensive side that are very important. But I think you've got your 3. You've got Boyd, Chase, Higgins under contract. Higgins and Chase are incredibly cheap. Joe Burrow is in that rookie window. And the only team that I see as a threat in the AFC North to them is the Ravens. And I think that Joe Burrow is only going to get better as a quarterback. He's seen more. They're going to they need to focus on offensive line and corner. I think this is a Bengals team that will win. This will be a top 5 AFC team for a long time. And this is a team also in the division. Sorry for rambling and going on about, because this is your team. I want
it's all good.
to hear your perspective. But this is a team that can win multiple road playoff games. They've been able to do that this year. So even if they don't win their division, they have the confidence to be able to go on the road and beat teams like Kansas City or Tennessee or maybe a Buffalo or New England or maybe Baltimore. We'll see.
Look, I kind of agree with you, but I think at this point the Bengals got to be looking at this offseason as maybe doing what the Rams did and going all in.
Okay.
Because Burrow's cheap. Like you said, Chase and Higgins are cheap, and they've got, I want to say they might have the most cap space going in this offseason of any team.
Go for it then.
They have near the most amount of cap space, at least, going into this offseason. So you need to retool that in pretty much that entire offensive line.
Absolutely.
Because it was an absolute nightmare the majority of the season, especially in the playoffs. You need to, I mean, a lot of the pieces on defense are very, very good. But
for sure.
You've got to re-sign Jesse Bates, B.J. Hill, Larry Ogunjobi, whether or not you keep both those D tackles or just keep one. I'm not sure. C.J. Uzama is up for a new deal.
It's still the DJ Reader, so they could probably afford to let one go.
Probably, but both B.J. Hill and Larry Ogunjobi were very, very good.
Very about, yeah.
B.J. Hill especially stepped up when Ogunjobi got injured in the first game of the playoffs. I think this year, like I said earlier, was their best opportunity to win a Super Bowl because the Rams are going to be a very, very good opponent next year with Lamar coming back healthy, with J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards coming back healthy, Marcus Peters coming back. You've got so much young talent in the AFC. You've got Josh Allen. You've got Patrick Mahomes. Herbert's going to have another year, and that Chargers team is going to be talented. You've got the Titans, even with a healthy Derrick Henry. I don't know if the Bengals beat the Titans with a healthy Derrick Henry.
That's fair.
You've got even the likes of the Raiders, the Colts, even somebody like the Bears or the Jaguars or the Jets potentially even taking a step up. I don't know if they make the playoffs, but I'm sure there's another team I'm missing. There's just a lot of talent in the
missing
AFC.
one team, and it hurts.
Yeah, I'm sorry, the Patriots.
You can't believe you omitted them. Wow.
I knew I was forgetting somebody.
I was like eyeing the hat, seeing if you'd pick up on it.
I completely agree that the Patriots are a contender in the AFC next year. Look, they've got the best coach of all time, and they've got Mac Jones with another year under his belt. So you're proving my point exactly. There's 9 to 10, 11, 12 even potentially really, really good.
I heard the Jaguars in there. I want to hear that.
Look, I'm not saying they make the playoffs. I'm just saying you get somebody who is in the bottom, potentially make a Bengals type.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Maybe not make the Super Bowl, but maybe make the playoffs. So, you get Trevor Lawrence with Doug Peterson, who's been a successful coach.
Yeah.
We won't go super in depth into that. But I believe I said the Bears, who were in the NFC. I don't know why I said that.
Well, the Bears could face them in the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, potentially. I don't know why I said that. It's
Bears.
Loopy day. But anyways, like I was saying, the Bengals, this I think was their best opportunity. I don't know if you're going to have Jamar Chase could very easily be just as successful next season, but you're going to have a year of tape on him, another year of tape on him at least, or at least in the NFL. You're going to have a year of tape, another year of tape on Joe Burrow. If their offensive line is just as much an issue next year as it is this year, that could be very, very bad. And a lot of people are saying it could turn into like an Andrew Luck type situation where
I hope not.
he has to retire early. I mean, he even got injured in this game, and it looked for a second like he was going to be out. Brandon Allen was going to have to come in.
Yeah, that looked bad. It's the same thing with Stafford happened. Because
Exactly.
They both had
that ankle twist was awful.
Yeah, I was like, okay, who's their backup again? It was like John Wolford is their backup.
Yep.
But gosh, I think this next year, like you said, another year tape on Burrow, a year tape on Jamar Chase, a year tape on the Bengals, where they kind of took over the NFL by storm. They're going to get their best shot from everybody. If Zach Taylor is a really good head coach, we're going to find out next year.
I think so. I personally am not super excited about him. Like, I saw something where it's potentially he's getting a new deal. If I were the Bengals, I'd be careful about that.
Yeah.
Because
let this next year play out.
Like, this entire offense was based around Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, that connection. If you find a way to shut that down, how are you moving the ball? The
Higgins, Boyd.
I mean, they've got a lot of weapons, but you know, if you shut down that primary connection between Chase and Burrow, it could lead to some issues, and Zach Taylor was going to have to figure out new ways to get the ball moving down the field.
Because Jamar is your big. Every team needs that receiver or play where they can just cut off half the field like that, or get a touchdown. You want those free plays, and the Rams had it with Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham, where they could take the top off of the defense. The Bengals had that with Jamar Chase. They were able to get that with Higgins and Chase in the Super Bowl. If that gets cut off, I mean, getting 12, 15 play drives is nice every single time, but eventually you need that quick play to be able to just get things going, keep things different and interesting. The jury will be out on Zach Taylor next year. If they struggle and miss the playoffs, I could see them trying to find a more quality candidate, or if they make the playoffs again and make another run, there we go.
Yeah. I mean, we got to give some props to Zach Taylor. He let Joe Burrow kind of he went hands off and let Joe Burrow kind of be Joe Burrow, which is what he had to do. And I don't know how many coaches are doing that, where they're not making him do what they exactly want to do. But this next season is going to be, I think, what decides what kind of direction. If the Bengals are going to be a playoff team, a championship contender for many years to come, or if there's potentially a little bit of issues with the coaching staff, it just kind of depends what their offseason looks like.
They could have a Super Bowl slump, but we'll see. The hangover for the team that loses, I don't know what the exact record is, but they always kind of like stagnate at the beginning of the year and then eventually figured it out. So if they start slow, it's just they've been playing a lot of football for the last year and a half.
Yeah.
So
the Bengals also had a lot of close games in the regular season.
They do.
Too. And in the playoffs. So
they've been fighting through. They need a break.
They do need a little bit of a break. Sorry, but that's pretty much all we got today.
Kyler Murray.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do Kyler Murray.
According to my source, Kyler Murray has complained yet again. The picture kind of like, it's so funny finding a Kyler Murray picture because he looks like an angry toddler sometimes.
Yep.
So the whole Instagram.
He's kind of acting like one too.
He is. He's a little. He needs to get put in timeout, man. Like, come on.
I agree. Cliff Kingsbury needs to put him in timeout. But if he's putting him in timeout in that massive house he has, if you remember.
Yeah, the draft, the subtle flex.
Yeah, where he was sitting like poolside in his multi-million-dollar house,
just chilling.
Maybe Kyler isn't complaining too bad.
Yeah.
But Kyler was. So what was the deal on it?
Oh, I actually have the Instagram post on my phone. I want to read it.
Let's hear Gracie Mann's firsthand perspective.
Because it is hilarious. I'll translate it. It's basically
Was it in a different language?
No, that would have been funny though. So he posted a picture of just him in a Cardinals uniform. You probably can't see it, but it says, "I play the game for the love of it. My teammates, everyone who's helped me to get me to this position, that believed in me and to win championships. All this nonsense is not what I'm about. Never has been, never will be. Anyone who's ever stepped between those lines with me knows how hard I go. Love me or hate me, I'm going to continue to grow and get better." And that is it. And a lot of people are like, yeah. This is the AKA, I'm not the bad guy, guys. I'm not as a...
That's your translation?
That is my translation.
Simple translation? All right. Yeah, because it came out basically with a report where, was it a bunch of other players were saying he's...
Like selfish, finger pointing, There was a report I read before you actually walked in that said he refused to come back in the game when they were getting embarrassed in the fourth quarter.
Really?
Yes. So the situation in AZ does not look good. But it could be, I thought originally at first it was just contract negotiations, it was just a tactic, but it looks like he's legitimately PO'd at them.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first, was when he deleted all his photos and everything.
He was just like, pay me.
Yeah, just go ahead and pay me now. But it looks like it might be a little bit serious, and I don't know. It's kind of a silly situation. Like Kyler, he was saying, I believe, that he feels he's getting blamed for that playoff loss, that he's getting blamed for a lot of stuff that they have had trouble with. You know, getting playoff wins, kind of collapsing in the second half of the season. But you know, when you're the quarterback, when you're the first overall draft pick, it's going to come with that.
Yeah.
And, you know,
you got to be able to shoulder some of that blame.
Yeah,
You
you know, you're the quarterback of the team. You're supposed to be the leader. You're supposed to be the one that everybody looks up to. Ironic, because nobody is actually looking up to Kyler Murray. But he, look, he's got to be prepared for some of that, you know.
How many pint jokes can we make in the next like 2 minutes? Should we not sell ourselves short?
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got a short temper, but.
Okay, we're gonna get in trouble, but.
Yeah, I don't know. Any other thoughts about Kyler Murray or anything else?
Nah, I'm short on him.
Oh.
Okay, I'm sorry. No, but I think that the situation will probably get resolved. They'll have to have some talks. Cliff Kingsbury, I think this is a team that, like, with Hopkins, they probably would have been more competitive in that game. But I don't like the way it's handled. And I don't like the way certain quarterbacks handle these certain situations. Like Aaron Rodgers, Kyler Murray now. Just like, let's be less drama-filled, guys. Come on, let's be professionals. It is in the word.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're exactly right.
I hate it. I like Kyler Murray too, so if he moves somewhere, it'd be very interesting. I bet, like, I don't know.
It'd be a lot to give up for him, I feel like, at this point.
Yeah.
You know, because he's still on his rookie deal, I believe. So.
Is he?
I would think so. He's only been in the league, what, 3 years?
Yeah. Well, it is getting to the near end of it, so.
Yeah, but, you know, he's still got 2 more, potentially.
Because he could pick up the 5th-year option. And that rookie deal is not as cheap as it's pretty lucrative for a first overall pick.
Yeah, but it's still not the massive Mahomes level contract.
Yeah, but what has Kyler Murray done? That was what I was trying to figure out. What has he done in the NFL that merits, besides making the Pro Bowl a couple times, what is his standing right? I've won 0 playoff games.
He has almost been an MVP contender.
He was an MVP candidate for 3 weeks.
Yes. He was great in fantasy.
Okay.
And yeah, that's about it. That's all
like
he's got.
When
on
Josh
his
Allen
resume
got
right
his contract, he'd won a couple playoff games and made significant strides each year, which Murray has done, but he hasn't won a playoff game yet. And he has DeAndre Hopkins, he has AJ Green, he has Chase Edmonds, James Conner.
They did have a few injury issues.
They did. I will give him some slack on that Rams game, but he was not very good to begin with anyways.
Yeah.
He didn't run the ball that much in that game, to be honest with you. I don't know. And maybe the Cardinals are worried with like injury potential and his height and all that, like, which is a serious, like, him being what, 5'10"?
Yeah.
Short king? No, he's not that. He is 5'10". I doubt it. I'm calling baloney on that. You heard it here first. To wrap up the show, I will say that Kyler Murray is below 5'10".
Bring out the measuring tapes.
I will. I will travel.
Release the measuring tapes.
We will do a Pardon My Take level road trip and go from Clemson, South Carolina to Glendale, Arizona and measure Kyler Murray's height and come back to you with the report.
I hope we're able to do that one day.
That would be fun. We'll make some podcasts and cover 2 shows along the way. All right. You got anything else before we?
No, I got nothing else. Not really anything.
If you enjoyed our Super Bowl recap and making fun of Kyler Murray's height, please subscribe to Tigervision. They make a bunch of fantastic shows. And thank you, as always, to Zach, our producer, for sitting back there and doing things that are amazing and goated. Patrick, anything else?
We don't fully understand.
Yeah, no, I don't understand him.
He tried to teach us that.
Yeah, he taught us, and so I have like
to be honest, don't really remember much. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, whether you're watching, listening, whatever it may be. Thank you for tuning in another week. And, you know, I'm not sure what news we'll have next week, but there will be news.
There will be something.
We will have a show. So
it's not the off season for us.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully we see you all next week, and, you know, have a good one.